What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Let's Talk Tottenham. And today I wanted to break down a little bit of what I saw in the Sheffield United match. And I know pretty much everybody probably saw this, but this was the most disappointing part of the game for me. You know, Jose Mourinho is supposed to be known for his defense, the way he's got a very strong defensive-minded team. Obviously, when he's come to Spurs, I think he's agreed that, you know, Spurs are known to play with flair. They're trying to score goals. And so I think he has tried to be a little bit more attacking minded. And this is why I think Spurs didn't look like they had a great plan. Because I think Mourinho himself is in two minds. He wants to be solid at the back, but he also wants to score goals in the Spurs way. And so he doesn't really know how to do that just yet. Now, I'm going to be taking a look at the 3 goals that were scored against us, and I'm seeing a pattern. Sheffield United is taking the ball down to the byline, and then as soon as they get to the byline, they're kicking that ball out either to the 6-yard box or the penalty spot, and they're scoring goals. And so we're going to look at a couple different things here. So let's look at the first goal. So we see, you know, here's where the ball is. Look at how many guys we've got in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in the box. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I've talked about this before in previous videos that Moussa Sissoko is over-relied on to play that kind of right back role when it comes to defense. And here he is playing in this right back role. Now, Aurier is back and he's helping, but it's just disappointing to see. He's so far back in that line, and I know that's probably part of the buildup, but I just don't know if it's actually as helpful, even though Poch was doing it, and now I see Mourinho doing it as well. So they have the ball here. Now, this guy is obviously making a run. He's going to run into this space and receive the ball. And when he does receive the ball, obviously, we're stuck. I mean, nobody's really moved, whereas Sheffield United have moved all over the place. They've got all these open guys right at the top of the box. And you just wonder, like, what is going on? Did they not practice for this? Because Sheffield was ready to score goals this way. The ball is then kicked out to this player here, not exactly at the PK spot. I'm sorry. Yeah, he makes a run towards the ball, and he's going to be right up in front of the 6-yard box. And it's a goal, you know, that's scored between bodies. So it was a great shot, but really a breakdown of the defense in just an embarrassing way. And again, look at where we are and where we're looking. Everybody's looking at the ball, and even if Lloris does get the save, who's going to be there for the rebound? It's definitely not going to be us. So that's the first goal. Now let's take a look at the second goal. Second goal is very similar, but on their left-hand side, our right-hand side. So they did it to Ben Davies. Now they're going to do it on Serge Aurier's side. They're already past Aurier here. And you've got Davinson Sanchez. And again, look at all this space. Lo Celso is also having to play so far back and help out in the defense. I don't think that's his strength. I know he was known to get more tackles, certainly, than Christian Eriksen was. But he's great with his feet. He's good at finding a pass. Why are we having him so deep? I just don't understand. So here's the first part of the play. He's going to go all the way. Actually, he's going to give the ball back to this player here. He's going to make a run down to the byline. He now has the ball, and again, space in the middle. Here's our line. Sissoko's trying to make the run back. Sissoko. It's just crazy. Now you can see they've got 3 guys lined up, and they go straight in between the keeper and Eric Dyer. And it's a wide open net. Nothing you can really do about that at that point. There's a lot they could have done before that point. So that's goal number 2. Now let's take a look at goal number 3. Again, we see them take the ball to the outside. Jan Vertonghen has come in for Ben Davies. We've got all this space wide open. I just don't understand why. I keep saying that. I don't understand because it is so confusing. I don't get how they've been working on solidifying this defense. Mourinho's talked about finding his core back line, and it's clear that he's picking Serge Aurier, Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer, and Ben Davies. That's who he's picking every time. And now he's got Yan in, so you might say, okay, maybe there's a breakdown of communication or something like that. But this was happening with Ben Davies just as much. So they get the ball out wide. This Sheffield United player here is going to just kind of flick the ball into this space. And again, taking the ball down to the byline. And here we are. All this open space. Sonny's gone all the way back. Dele's, stranded. I believe this is Dembele. And they get the ball, again, right at the 6. And they score a goal. Now, this was super hard to watch live. And even just going back over it and seeing how they scored, I have some concerns. Certainly when you think about Eric Dyer being back there, he's been a solid defensive midfield player. I know he's said previously that he wants to play in that center back role. I know Pochettino I think he mentioned that he felt like that would be more of a secure place for him long term. And Dyer and Mourinho have a little bit of history in terms of, I can't remember if it was last season or the season before, that Mourinho had kind of showed some interest in him and was speaking Portuguese to him at the end of one of the Manchester United games, and that was really upsetting to Pochettino and the team. But here you see someone who's not stable. We just re-signed Toby, and Toby has not played a minute since the restart. I can understand Jan Vertonghen. He's only been given a contract extension for a month. He's not going to be part of the long-term plans. Toby definitely is going to be part of the long-term plans. He's one of the best defenders that we've had. And I feel like Mourinho I don't think he's trying to make a point. I think he's trying to really establish these back four as a solid unit together, really getting them to be comfortable, communicating, getting that back line strong. But, we're 3 games in, and it's not working. You'd kind of hoped that after you saw the West Ham United game, had that first clean sheet in a long time, that something might change. But the reality is, and multiple articles have talked about this, that since Moussa Dembele has left, which was not this last January, but the January before, Spurs have not kept a clean sheet away from home except for once. And I think that tells you that it's that defensive midfield role that's really the core of that spine that's missing. There's too much ease of access for the opposing offenses, and here we are getting many goals scored against us, and I think it is slightly demoralizing to the team. Now, I know there were some articles that were also came out that said, Mourinho talked about kind of a weak mindset, or getting the goal that Harry Kane scored disallowed, and then Steven Bergwijn kind of contradicted that in his assessment. And honestly, I don't know if that's really here or there. It's a talking point, sure, but it's about the defense, really. We've got so many options in the midfield, many attacking options in the midfield. Obviously, you just have Harry Kane up top. We don't really have a secondary striker. You could say Son kind of fits that role. At least he did under Pochettino. But you just feel really concerned. What are we going to do? And in terms of our Champions League hopes, they certainly feel dashed. Our European hopes feel like they're on a knife's edge. We could, if we don't win against Everton, it's hopeless, I think. And even still, kind of speaking from my head and not my heart, I think it is somewhat hopeless to expect any sort of European, European nights. So, as I look at this and I consider where we're at, I think next season is going to be critical. If we don't get any European Cup games, Harry Kane is going to be thinking about his future. even with Jose Mourinho, if we can't get any sort of silverware, whether it's a smaller cup, um, or if hopefully we can make the Europa League and we could win that. If we don't get anything at all, I think we start to see um, the likes of Harry Kane and Dele Alli looking to leave. Now I know they have longer contracts, and Daniel Levy is a businessman. He's not going to just sell them for the sake of selling them. But you sure wonder if we can't get this train back on the rails and start moving in the right direction, it's going to be a long 2 or 3 years. So hopefully we can see a little bit of improvement before the end of this season. Hopefully we can secure some Europa League games for next season. And then as we look to next season, we want to see improvement. I know that there's talk about kind of seeing if Aurier will garner any interest in replacing him with Max Aarons. But I don't really know if I'm not the biggest fan of Aurier, but I don't know if that's the issue. I think the issue is a defensive midfielder that kind of like is in front of that back line. And I do think that that core is just, it's too much in the air. Too much has been juggled. Personally, I would love to see Toby and Davidson. I don't know why Jose is so committed to Eric Dyer as being that in that place. And I love Eric, and I know Eric loves me, but it's just one of those things where you want to see a better showing than what we saw. So hopefully we see something better in the Everton game. And yeah, I would love to know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that the defensive midfield position is the issue? Do you think it's the back line? How would you suggest that Jose make some changes? Is it only in the transfer market? I don't think we're going to have money. So what else can he do except, build on the players that he has and hopefully restore some of the chemistry of our back line, going back to those days when it was Yan and Toby, and I think we had like the lowest goals against in that season. So anyway, would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and as ever, it was great talking with you.